Let's talk about that for a second. How when you go back to and you read Exodus, right, and you're going through the story of Moses as a baby, it's the same story that you have, quote unquote, a Gentile, heathen, pagan, whatever. These people that are, quote unquote, by biblical theology, sons of Satan, right, or sons of the prince of the power of the air, sons of wrath, if you will, trying to stamp out the children of the promise and their bloodline, and ultimately the bloodline of the seed of the woman from Genesis. I think it's like 1 through 11, where it's like the seed of the woman will crush the head of the serpent. So it's totally like a type and a shadow. It's like forecasting the future. It's like, hey, you're going to see this happen again. And that's exactly what we see with Joseph getting the message from the angel to, hey, you got to get out of here. They're going to try to kill the baby. Mm-hmm. And then they go and live in Egypt for a couple of years, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Right. Which, mentioning angels too, I'm not sure if it's 23, it might be 24 when the women come to bring the spices. And it says, and it says that they saw people in gleaming or brilliant clothing being like, what are you doing looking for someone who's alive amongst the dead?
Right.
Like, don't you remember that he said he'd meet you in Galilee? And I thought it was really interesting that it's this biblical theme of angels, which I always bring up that the word angel just means messenger. In Hebrew, it's malek. In the Greek, it's angelos. In English, we say angel, but it just means messenger. But this is very clearly not just a human messenger. These are definitely supernatural beings, because you see it mentioned in 24 that that it was like a vision. It was a vision of two messengers, of two angels, right? And I think it's very powerful to see that the supernatural is working right alongside with the natural. That like God is spirit. It's Jesus, it's the Holy Spirit, it's these supernatural messengers or angels. And then you see that we're part of the plan. That we're not just like some afterthought, that God is inviting us to be part of his family, to be part of his kingdom. You know, what did they say about Jesus? They're walking on the road and they say, we thought that this guy was going to be the one to redeem Israel. And that just doesn't mean like, oh, Messiah, warrior, king, come and save us. This whole theme in the Old Testament of the kinsman redeemer.
Right.
What does it mean to be redeemed if you're an Israelite? It means that you've been shamed, you've been forsaken. It seems like as if you've been cursed. And yet God will bless you with a redemption. And if that's not the story of the cross, then I don't know what is. That he takes what is broken and he breathes new life into it, right? He takes that which is dead and he makes it come alive. As you're closing out Luke, it just is a whole summation of what you're reading through the entirety of the Bible. Humans are going to mess things up, but God promises he's going to fix it. Yep. Right? He's gonna solve the issue of human sin and the issue of death. And how does he do it? With Jesus.
Right.
With God in human form. It's beautiful.